This tutorial will answer the question, how do you round numbers to the nearest tens, hundreds, and thousands place? So for the nearest tens place, what you first have to do is you have to decide which two tens 48 is between. If we look down here, so I know that 48 is between the numbers 40 and 50 on the number line. Now, I'm going to look at the ones place over here, and I'm going to decide whether I'm going to take this 4 in the tens place and I'm going to leave it as 40, or I'm going to round it up to 50. If this number that I've drawn the arrow to in the ones place is 5 or higher, I'm going to go up to 50. If it's 4 or lower, I'm going to go down to 40. A saying that we can use to remember that is 5 to the sky, which means you raise it up to 50, or 4 to the floor, which means the number rounds down to 40. So I see that it's 8, that would fall under 5 to the sky. This number would round to 50. When my number's in the hundreds, I'm still only looking at the tens and the ones place because I'm rounding to the nearest 10. So 3 is in the tens place. So I'm trying to figure out what two tens 731 is between. Well, it's between 730 and it's between 740. So I'm trying to pick between those two. So I'm going to use my ones number, and I see that that is a 1, which would fall in 4 to the floor. So again, it's 5 to the sky. If this ones place number right here is 5 or higher, I would round up. If it's 4 or below, I round down. So it is 4 or below, so 730 is my answer. When I'm working with a number in the thousands place, like 6,245, I use the same skill. I'm looking at these numbers to the nearest 10. So I'm looking at, is this number between 6,000, sorry, this number is between 6,250 and 6,240. I'm trying to decide between those two. Well, I'm going to use the number in the ones place. I'm going to look over there. That is 5 to the sky. That tells me I'm going up to the higher number. So this number rounds to 6,250. If I'm rounding numbers to the nearest hundreds place, like for example 983, now I have to pick between hundreds. Well, 983, the lower hundred would be 900. And now this one's a little tricky because the next 100 above 900 is actually 1,000, which sometimes you would think is a 1,000 number, but we get there because that's 10 hundreds to make 1,000. So when I look here, I'm trying to figure out, okay, I look at my hundreds place, that's what I'm rounding to. So I'm going to use the next number over. Is that number 5 to the sky or 4 to the floor? Well, the 8 is 5 to the sky, so that tells me I go up to the next 100, so this rounds to 1,000. When my number is in the thousands, I'm working on the same skill, so I'm looking to decide, okay, this number is between 7,400 and 7,500. So I'm going to check out my hundreds here. I'm trying to decide between 400 and 500. I use this number in the tens place. That's a 2. That would be 4 to the floor. So this number rounds to 7,400. Down here, when I'm rounding to the nearest thousands place, same skill. Here's my thousands place. So 8,258. Well, I know that's between 8,000 and it's between 9,000, would be the higher one. So I'm going to use my next number over the 2 to decide, do I round up to 9,000 or do I go down to 8,000? Well, 2 is below 4, so that kind of falls under 4 to the floor. So 8,258 rounds to 8,000. My next example is 7,604. I'm going to do the same thing. 7,604 is between 7,000 and the higher 1,000 is 8,000 that it's between. Rounding to the thousands, I'm going to use the next number over in order to decide whether to go up or down. The number in the hundreds place is a 6. That falls in 5 to the sky. I'm going to go up to 8,000. So that's how you would round numbers to the nearest tens, hundreds, and thousands.